on YouTube now.
We'll see.
Now?
No, not now.
No?
Right now. Okay.
Now.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I think we're live on YouTube as well. So, hi Facebook, hi YouTube. Yes, we're live. Let us know how our audio is. I can actually check our audio myself. Yeah, good audio. All right, good.
Audio is good.
So, yeah, so let me just say hi, everyone. We're going to be covering the news. This is Armin Navabi from Atheist Republic, and we're with Jim. Hi, Jim.
Hi, Armin, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm fantastic.
So we're going to be covering the latest news on religion, atheism, secularism, and politics. Sometimes we go away from religion because of what the Atheist Republic community asks us to cover, but mostly about religion and atheism. But before we do, Jim, can you quickly thank our new patrons?
Sure.
Really
Real quick,
quick.
just want to thank our donors on our Patreon. Without you guys, we couldn't do what we do. $1 pledge from Ken Moncrief. Ken, thank you so much for your donation. We greatly appreciate it. We have a $2 pledge from PJ Goodles or Godels. I'm sorry for butchering that last name. Thank you so much. And on Christmas, no doubt. Merry Christmas. And we have a $20 pledge from Rivenal Guzman. Senor Guzman, thank you so much for that donation. And that is all. If you want to donate, go to our Patreon. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. We do really need your help to keep going. And I also want to thank Seth Andrews because he just recently donated to our Facebook fundraising campaign. So thank you so much, Seth Andrews. A whole bunch of other people donated. So thank you to all of you guys. And also, guys, if you want to make sure that you don't miss our most important content, check in the link in the description to subscribe to our newsletter because Facebook doesn't like us, YouTube doesn't like us, Twitter doesn't like us. We can't rely on these platforms. The only way to make sure that we get you our content is by newsletter. So if you want to stay in touch with us always, please subscribe to our newsletter. Anyways, that's all the fluff. Let's get into the meat of this episode. So we are covering the news. What is it? What do we have for the first news today?
Telangana honor killing. Parents allegedly beat daughter to death for marrying outside of her caste. A 22-year-old woman, Pindi Anuradha of Kalamadugu village, was allegedly beaten to death by her parents and relatives for marrying her lover, Ayyoru Lakshirajam, alias Lakshman, against their wishes. They had eloped earlier this month and got married. They came back 3 weeks later and were approached by approached the local police station that seeking protection. The police then escorted them and left them with the man's parents. And knowing the couple's arrival, the women's parents, together with other relatives, went to Lakshman's house and assaulted him. They took her out of the house and beat her on the streets until she died. They then took her body to the hillocks at Malapur village in Nirmal district and set it on fire. Police took her parents into custody. Anuradha belongs to the Padmashali community or the Weavers community, and Lakshman belongs to the Yadava community. So they were outside of caste, but were in love for a couple of years, and
Where was
by
this
acting
again?
on it. I'm sorry.
Where was this again?
This was in the Kalamadugu village.
Yeah. Fucking barbarians. And again, we're going to get a lot of comments by so-called Hindu atheists, which I still don't know what it means, but they're going to be like, oh, this has nothing to do with Hinduism. Oh, Hinduism is a way of life. It's not a religion and all that nonsense. I mean, this is definitely, it's based on the caste system, right? So he got married, he got married into a lower caste. Is that the case?
Yes, correct.
Yeah, and the caste system is definitely based on Hinduism. It's within their ancient scripture. Anybody that tells you that the caste system is not based on Hinduism is bullshitting you. This is definitely... People say, oh, Hinduism is not a religion, it's a way of life. First of all, religion is a way of life. And yeah, Hinduism is a way of life, and it's a shitty way of life. And yeah, this is, and people say, oh, it's a culture, it's not a religion. Well, it's both, right? It's just mixed together. And yeah, it is a culture, and it's a fucking shitty culture. And it's a culture that needs to die. It's a worthless, barbaric, backward culture. Like, fucking hell, man. And you know, a lot of people say, "Oh, but it's better now. The caste system is used to be a lot worse." Yeah, it's better now, but it needs it's not done. It's still a major problem in India, and this whole way of thinking needs to die. Anybody that argues against this needs to just rethink their priority. Like this is, first of all, whether you think this is based on Hinduism or not, can you agree first of all that this whole caste system needs to die? This whole anything that another thing is that people try to blame this on you know, modern trends and like something, you know, a lot of the problems that is happening with Hindu nationalism or Hindu extremism in India, they try to blame it on you know, the British imperialism, just exactly the same way that Muslims try to blame a lot of the problems in the Islamic world based on Western imperialism. But again, nobody is excusing anything that ancient empires did. But take some fucking responsibility for your backward barbaric ideology. I mean, come on, this is fucking idiotic. And again, a lot of people are saying like, oh, but what about the Muslims in India? They are worse. Their Islam is worse. Okay, fine. Yeah, Hinduism is not as bad as Islam. But again, every time I have to clarify it, you don't have to be as bad as Islam for it to be a shitty backward ideology. If the only defense that you have to ideology is that you're better than Islam, then you must be a shitty ideology, because it doesn't take much to be better than Islam. Anyways, let me see. Jim, did you want to add anything to this?
No, that just about covered it.
Okay, this is the top comment I don't like. It says the land of no personal hygiene and rape. That's not fair, I think. I mean, I think that's the hygiene part is mostly as a result of poverty. Yeah, I mean, but where in India where you don't have poverty, you do have personal hygiene, and but when they say land of rape, a lot of people deny this, but India does have a problem when it comes to safety of women. It has a huge problem with that. And every time you mention that, again, a lot of people in India, to be fair, there's a lot of activists in India that their entire activism is focused on addressing these issues, right? So this is not about, you know, saying this is not about shitting on India, because there's a lot of people in India that actively are fighting against these things. India has this India has a huge share of its atheist activists and other forms of activists, human rights activists, women rights activists, and they're all growing and they're all doing a very good job. But unfortunately, they have a their job is made very much difficult because of national pride and religious pride and ethnic pride. Because of these kind of the pride people have usually makes them want to deny the problems their country or their ideology is having, and because of that pride, a lot of the activists in India that are trying to address these things are having a problem even bringing attention to these issues, because of a lot of the deniers that these are some major issues in their country, right? And every time, you know, this is a classic whataboutism happens. Every time you point out the problems in India, a lot of people from India say like, oh, but what about these other countries? Well, what about these other countries? Your country is having problems. Some people are trying to fix it, and you're just shifting the attention to somewhere else. Ian, I don't know. Clark is saying there is no honor in killing your family. Yeah, I mean, again, this shows you that Islam doesn't have a monopoly over honor killing, right? But again, we don't, just because we say Islam doesn't have a monopoly, we don't. Jim, do you need to get a glass of water?
No, I'm good.
Okay, just because we're not saying that Islam doesn't have a monopoly, just because we're admitting that other religions have problem, we're not denying the fact that Islam has. When it comes to Islam, this is a bigger issue, okay? Yes, we know Islam it has a bigger issue when it comes to honor killing and when it comes to hate crimes. Islam wins when it comes to barbarity among most of these other ideologies, if not all of them. Okay, so we're not denying that, but again, your ideology is shit, and we need to point out that it's shit. This will happen to me one day. Oh my god, I'm so sorry for you if you feel that way. Shalini is saying that. I think she must be from India. This is a nation with atomic weapons and space program. Again, India is a very, very big country, and nobody is denying the achievements of India. Okay, I mean and you know, when it comes to technology, when it comes to entrepreneurship, when it comes to you know, space programs and all that stuff, but just because if you don't want to deny the achievements of India, you shouldn't also deny the problems that you're having, and you shouldn't deny the activists that you have in your own community trying to fix these things. And your pride, your national pride, and your religious pride is making it more difficult for them. That should teach her. Oh my god, that's a cruel joke. Let me see if there's anything on the YouTube live chat for me to read. Okay, Pakistani Atheist is saying, if the rest of the world adopted Western values, such as the concept of the individual over the collective, like Japan and Israel have, the world would be a far better place. Pakistani Atheist, I agree with that, but I wonder if we, instead of calling it Western values, and I'm not sure about this, if we just refer to them as Enlightenment values, it would be
because those aren't. Wait, those aren't at all Western values.
No, they are Western values because they got popularized in the West during the Enlightenment era, right? But
during the Enlightenment era, that's when they were popularized, but they're not in use, like in the Americas, for instance, like caring about the individual over the collective.
Yeah, but my point was that I see why would they refer to as Western value given where they got originated from, but maybe if we refer to them as Enlightenment values, then we emphasize on the fact that the place they originated from doesn't mean that they belong to that place. These are values that work everywhere, so they belong to the entire planet. I'm not saying calling them Western values denies that point, but maybe it would be easier selling it to the rest of the world if we call them Enlightenment values. I mean, come on, Japan has adopted Enlightenment values, and it's not in the West, right? So, sure. But I'm not denying. I don't see that. I'm not denying the point in calling them Western values. I just think maybe it's a better PR move. All right, let me see if there's anything on Facebook live chat, guys. By the way. If you guys want me to read the comments, make sure you do two things. First of all, you tag Atheist Republic, and also make sure it's relevant to the news that we're covering. Should we... Jim, did you want to add anything?
No.
Okay. Okay, let me just wait for this page to load. Okay, let's go to the next news.
Dennis Prager. People who say happy holidays are unpatriotic radicals. So here is somebody who obviously did not survive the war on Christmas.
Oh, so
Dennis Prager, Dennis Prager, a conservative radio host, said that saying Merry Christmas over Happy Holidays is a form of patriotism. He added that even though it is not his personal holiday, him being Jewish, it is still a national holiday. He said, this is the most important point. The notion that if you don't celebrate Christmas or if you're not a Christian, you are offended by it. It's so preposterous that words fail me. Preposterous is an understatement.
Right. Go on.
Which is a really bold claim. That's like saying that somebody who doesn't celebrate New Year's Eve is not a patriot or is not American, so to speak.
Well, I mean, I could go over. By the way, I'm getting echo, Jim. If you have a headset, please use a headset or reduce the volume. I mean, first of all, I'm not a patriot. I don't see the point of being a patriot. But for people that are patriots, I don't think they want anybody to tell them how to be a patriot, right? Like, I guess. Who are you to tell others how to be patriotic, all right? I mean, again, I don't want to get into why I don't see the point of being patriotic, but to whoever who does see a point, I mean, I think they would tell this guy to go fuck himself.
Yeah, because Christmas is not a holiday that is exclusive to the United States. It's not a national holiday in just the United States. And in fact, Christmas is one of the most widely celebrated traditions.
Right. Actually, it's a Middle Eastern. Isn't it like a foreign holiday? Like it's the least nationalistic thing that there should be.
Yeah.
Like,
well, yeah. It originated in it's Roman in origin.
Right. Yeah, not Middle Eastern, Roman. So yeah, actually, it's a foreign thing. Maybe if you're really patriotic, you shouldn't be. You should get rid of Christmas then.
If you're really patriotic, you wouldn't be celebrating somebody else's holiday.
This is a foreign culture. Get rid of it then. But didn't he also say, "I fear erratically secularized America. I fear it. As a Jew, I fear it." I mean. Yeah. As a Jew, you should be fearing people that tell you how to be patriotic. I think the most, or telling other. I mean, I don't understand. Exactly. You say I fear it as a Jew, or as a Muslim, or as a Christian, or as an atheist, or as a whatever. You should be preferring a secularized America more than anything else, because that's the only way that you get to be whoever the fuck you want and basically practice whoever. I mean, as a Jew, what you should be fearing are people that think that they could tell other people what cultures to adopt and how to live. That's what you should be fearing. In fact, as a Jew, we should be fearing people like you. That's what they should be fearing. You're right. The thing. I mean, how stupid could this? How idiotic can this get? Jews throughout history, the thing that the Jews needed, Jews being prosecuted throughout history, they are the people that should be demanding a secularized nation more than anybody. In fact, anti-secularism is what got Jews prosecuted throughout history, right? Secular society is what guarantees Jews not being prosecuted. In fact, you should be at the front lines in demanding a secularized America as a Jew.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
No, you're absolutely right. Well, it's crazy, but this is also the same person who has attacked atheists before and said that that atheists have no morals, and that if a stranger was drowning and the atheist dog was drowning, the atheist would save their dog over the stranger because they don't recognize that that humans are created in God's image, and therefore humans are more special than dogs. And I just thought that was the most. I guess preposterous is the perfect word for it. The most preposterous claim that I think I've ever heard from somebody when referring to atheists. Just such a straw man argument.
I'm just gonna make a guess that the way that he comes up with statements is not based on like what makes the most sense. I think he knows his audience. He knows his audience are conservative, right-wing Christians, and he just was like, what can I say that will resonate with my audience the most? So maybe he's exactly. I mean, he can't be this stupid, right? I think he knows exactly what he's doing. Like he just saying,
I think he can be.
No. I mean, my guess is that he needs to say something about Christmas or against people that say Happy Holidays. Just because he knows who's his audience is. Like he's not that stupid. I don't think so. He just knows his audience are stupid. But I mean, Happy Holidays. Oh, so we are. So you guys are unpatriotic radicals because you said Happy Holidays. These people, right. Like, you know who should be really pissed off by this? Christians in Egypt and Pakistan that are getting Christians in Egypt and Pakistan that are actually being oppressed, or Jewish people in Iran or Saudi Arabia, or that are actually being oppressed. When they hear somebody in the United States think that people are being radical against them and oppressing them because they're saying Happy Holidays instead of Merry Christmas, they should be like, shut the fuck up, man. Like, we are being oppressed here. And guess what? The Christians in Pakistan and the Christians in Saudi Arabia and the Christians in Egypt and Iran, you know what they would really want? Those Christians, they would want a secularized nation. They would want a secular country, because the secular country would mean those Christians or those Jews in those countries wouldn't get the shit that they're getting right now. So if you're not an atheist, but maybe go talk to your fellow Christians and Jews in those countries and see how much they would appreciate a secular country. Go on, Jim.
Yeah. No, what I don't understand is that as a Jew, as somebody who is so offended by this unpatriotic act and this secularization of America, not only claiming that atheists want to do away with Christmas as a national holiday, which I don't know that I've ever heard anybody actually take that position, but regardless of that, it's really funny how as a Christian he's not upset at the secularizing of Christmas itself as a holiday, like how secular Christmas is. Christmas has nothing to do with the birth of Jesus. In today's society, Christmas is a commercialized secular holiday. It has nothing to do with religion.
Which is fine.
I live in the Bible Belt, and I saw one advertisement for a Christmas play for like, the whole pageant, the whole birth of Jesus nativity thing. Went driving around looking at Christmas lights. Not a single nativity scene. It's all snowmen and Santa Claus, and but he's not offended by the secularizing of Christmas. It's just that these type of people on the far right are so eager for a war on Christmas. They want some kind of opposition. Yeah. They want some kind of validity in their hate of atheists.
Right. They're like, why are people not oppressing us? This Christmas argument is so stupid. Please, somebody oppress us so we have a better victimhood card to play with, because we have nothing. We have to go with the stupid Happy Holidays argument. Please, somebody do something against Christians in the United States so we could say something. But
it's like that meme. It's like that meme where that guy's riding his bike and he sticks the stick in his own spokes and he's like, "Ow, I'm being oppressed."
Right. Bob, the top comment from Bob is saying, "I'm going to start saying Happy Holidays just to trigger these emotional little what is that? I don't know, something, but it's funny. Actually I prefer saying Merry Christmas as well, because it just sounds more festive, but I might switch to Happy Holidays just because these people are telling us not to. I mean, I really do prefer Merry Christmas. It just sounds nicer. I mean, anybody could say whatever they want, whatever they enjoy saying the most. But I might start enjoying saying Happy Holidays because these people don't like it. Gwen is saying freedom of religion also means freedom from religion. Exactly. Wellesley is saying, I say Happy Winter Solstice. I get great reactions. Yeah. Good. Let me see if there's anything on Facebook. Oh, wait, YouTube. Let me see. Moose Gal is saying, Armin, I agree with you 100% on patriotism. And I know people are saying, oh, Armin, patriotism is not the same as nationalism. I know, I don't like either. Moose Gal is saying, Dennis, yeah, he's a Jewish man. Yeah, we know. Let me see if Facebook live chat had tagged Atheist Republic on anything. No, they didn't tag Atheist Republic on anything. By the way, I don't know what you did, but you fixed your background noise. I think you did something, but you were getting a lot of background noise. I think it's gone now. Somebody mentioned that our audio levels are different. I am trying to fix that by keeping the microphone closer. One of our patrons mentioned that I keep waking up his wife because he keep, reducing the volume when I speak, and then when you speak, the volume is up, and his wife keeps on waking up. So I'm trying to figure out how to level the audio on our live streams.
If I talk from back here.
No, go back to where you are. It's fine. Okay, so let's go to the next news.
Fatwa says men and women dining together is un-Islamic. Islamic seminary Darul Uloom in Deoband has asked Muslims to avoid men and women dining together at social or other events, saying that it is un-Islamic. It is not proper for Muslim men and women to dine together. The fatwa, or religious decree, also said that dining while standing is un-Islamic too. So you have to sit down and not with a lady.
Do you know where is he getting this from? Like a hadith or anything, or is just like?
I think he's getting it from his ass. I think he's pulling it out.
No, there's a lot of hadiths that if you read the hadiths, these things do have Islamic scripture supporting it. A lot of it, at least. But I mean, I don't know.
The standing part?
I don't know. I'm just asking. There's so much hadith. You really can't. There's a hadith for fucking everything. But I mean, I kind of like this stuff because it's hard. We need more. What is this guy? Is he Sunni, Shia? What is he? He's probably Sunni. He's a yeah. Yeah, but he's. I mean, these people are making the case for us that Islam and modernity and progress are never are always going to be against each other. Because even if people want to make the case that this is not Islamic, I don't know where it is. They have to go do some research to see, if it's Islamic or not. I mean, most people just say it's not. Most people that want to defend Islam, they're like, this guy's an idiot. It has nothing to do with Islam. But anybody that wants to actually gets motivated enough to go check, whether they get convinced or not that this imam pulled it out of his ass or was based on something, once they go looking, they're gonna see so much shit that I'm gonna hope much nonsense. I mean, the thing is whether you could actually tie these stuff to Islam. I mean, the separation between men and women, that's pretty much Islamic, right? That's very Islamic. That you can't deny that. But the sitting down, sitting up part, if whether you could tie it to Islam or not, any amount of investigation, even if it doesn't get you to the conclusion that it's Islamic, it does get you to the conclusion that wow, there's a lot of nonsense in here. But go on, Jim. Sorry.
Right. Well, there's the part of the seminary there that actually is in charge of releasing the fatwas and determining what is fatwa and not. They are actually the ones who issued the decree saying that it wasn't proper for them to dine together, and it was inside of the same fatwa that said that you can't dine while standing either. So this is something that's relatively new. Now, what the seminary is basing their conclusions on is something different. As far as the hadiths go, depending on where the hadith is from, really kind of depends on which Muslim sect would find it authoritative, right?
No, I mean, if you're Sunni, Bukhari and Muslim are authentic hadith, right? They're only second to the Quran. Like they're the most they're considered authentic hadith by all schools of by all Sunni Islamic schools.
What about these fatwas that are only released by these little small area seminaries?
Yeah, I mean, those are not considered to be accepted by all Sunnis, right? By all people that follow the school of thought. But the thing is that the mere investigation of trying to see if this is based on hadith or based on the Quran or not will lead you to more people to doubt, I'm hoping, right? I think. I mean, anybody that reads Sahih Bukhari or Sahih Muslim, if they come out and think like, yeah, this is a book that makes sense, I mean, then there's a problem with them, right? Like, I just want more Muslims to read Sahih Bukhari. You think the Quran is ridiculous? Then if you read the Hadith, then you would be like, okay, no, the Hadith is even more ridiculous.
This is really going to backfire on them, though, because, I mean, if they keep this up, keep separating men and women farther and further, and, in 50 or 60 years, they're just all going to be gay, and then they're just going to die off.
But no, no. But I know that was a joke. But there's actually some seriousness to that because separating men and women is actually a huge reason behind the sexual frustration people have, right? Like, and it leads into a whole bunch of abnormal behavior. So let me see the top comments. Paul is saying, what a sad existence it must be to be so afraid of women that you can't even share a meal with them. Good point. Dusty is saying they really are fucking nutters, aren't they? I really am starting to really despise these twats. I mean, a lot of them are brainwashed since childhood. I mean, sometimes instead of hating them, you just need to feel bad for them. Mike is saying, I like how dining together is heresy, but raping your wife is cool. Fuck out of here. No one's buying into your indoctrination here. A lot of people. Okay, so a lot of times when people exaggerate something about Islam, I call them out. But what Mike is actually saying here is not exaggeration, because the concept of raping your wife is foreign in Islam. There's no like, just if somebody is your wife, then it's your property, and you don't need consent to Islamically to have sex with them. In fact, the concept of consent is never even brought up anywhere in the Quran or the Hadith. The concept of zina, which is unlawful sex, is only based on having sex with people that you're not married to or you don't own as a sex slave.
Same in the Bible.
Yeah, so consent is never mentioned in the Quran or the Bible, because it was never even, they never even thought that was an issue. So raping your wife is completely acceptable in Islam, because they don't think that you need permission from your wife, because she's your wife and she's your property and you should be able to do whatever you want. So usually when people exaggerate something about Islam, I do want to call it out, because it's important to call it out, so that we're taken seriously when we do criticize Islam. But Mike is not wrong here. Raping your wife is cool Islamically. Let me see what... Oh, Muscal is saying, what is a fatwa? It's basically an Islamic declaration of something being okay.
Or not okay.
Or not okay in Islamically. Because a lot of the things that are not directly mentioned in the Quran or Hadith, then you need religious leaders to declare whether something is okay or not okay, and it's called a fatwa. And it's usually an official statement with a fancy stamp or something on it and a signature. And it's the most famous fatwa was the one that Khomeini gave against Salman Rushdie, and that was very famous because he made a fatwa for Muslims that weren't even living under Islamic regimes. So for the first time, declared Islamic law for people that weren't even living under Islamic land. So he declared that Salman Rushdie should be killed because of the book that he wrote, which is the Satanic verses. So yeah, go look into that. That's very interesting. Muscal is also saying, Jim, Mike Pence would love this idea. Remember when it came on in the U.S. that he cannot be alone with the lady without his wife there. I mean, yeah, right. I just want to make sure that you're not suggesting that it would ever be the same under Republicans, like the same way. By the way, where was this? This was in India, right?
Yes, correct.
India, okay. So yeah, maybe no. India is not as bad as Pakistan when it comes to Islamic laws or anything else, for that matter, religious-wise. But it's still shitty when it comes to.
But I mean, we're seeing a lot more extremism coming out of India, though. So I mean, that's really drawing the line on that claim.
I mean, a lot of the problems with having Hindu extremism rising in India, it's also a reaction to Islamic extremism. I mean, Islam in general in India. Right. So it's kind of a reaction to that. Yeah, man.
Sure.
Islam is always a terrible thing for anywhere. Terry in the Facebook live chat saying, well said by fella at the top window. I don't know. So he's Terry is referring to Jim, I think.
Am I top window?
Yeah, you're the top window.
You down there?
Yeah. Terry is saying, main reason I don't use Mary. Oh, that's for previous news. Sorry for missing that, Terry, from the previous news. I tried to pay more attention to the Facebook live chat. I don't want to ignore our Facebook people. Okay.
Why do we have to bring up Mike Pence, man? That just ruined my day.
Wait, bringing up Islam didn't ruin your day?
Well, no, I don't have to deal with Islam.
Okay. Okay, so let's go to the next news.
Even atheists need Jesus on Christmas, pastor says. Kevin Schrum, a Tennessee pastor at Inglewood Baptist Church in Nashville, Tennessee, said that everyone, including atheists, need Jesus on Christmas. He wrote a holiday op-ed for the Tennessean arguing that, quote, "We are all imperfect sinners in need of saving grace from Jesus Christ," end quote.
Are you sure? Fine. We'll respond saying, not even Christians need Jesus. Nobody needs Jesus. If you can feel free, but I mean, I don't understand why even he's saying that, as if that's even atheists. Isn't that
even Christians need the flying spaghetti monster?
No, I mean, isn't it? I mean, it goes against his own views, because shouldn't it be atheists need Jesus more than anyone else because they are so far away from Jesus that they are
Sure.
the most, like, I think that these people don't understand their own philosophy, because he thinks like he's saying something profound, but to me it seems like if he really understood his ideology, he would think that Christians are with Jesus. It's atheists that need Jesus the most right now. It's the sinners that need Jesus the most, right? But to me, the fact that they are so out of touch with Christianity itself, but more in line with what is being demonstrated in society, shows how things have changed. Because this is basically in response to the fact that they can see that we have okay lives without Jesus, right? Because if what he was saying was reflective of Christianity, he would say atheists need Jesus the most. But what he's saying is reflective of what they are observing. And what they're observing is people living normal, healthy, fulfilling lives without Jesus. So naturally the way it comes out as even these people need Jesus, because it goes against what we're observing. You know what I mean? It goes against the way he's saying it. It suggests that people are observing that that's not actually the case. That's the way I see it, and I think they're bothered by it, because it goes. I mean, here's the interesting thing, because in most Islamic countries, most Muslims are not exposed to ex-Muslims, and the whole concept of ex-Muslims is a new concept that is getting more popularity, and it's very when it was first becoming a big thing to talk about, it was bizarre to many Muslims, because the idea of somebody knowing Islam and being Muslim and being okay with leaving it just blows people's mind. Like, obviously, if you know Islam, you're going to be Muslim, right? How could you be So they have to come up with a narrative that maybe you were never a Muslim to begin with. So for Muslims, they are still, for most Muslims at least, not the Muslims that are living outside of Islamic countries, but for most Muslims, they still live in that very very comfortable bubble that they don't see people leaving their religion. But for a lot of Christians that live in secular countries, they're always exposed to people moving more and more away from Christianity and not having to suffer for it, or not having to pay for it, or not being more depressed because of it, or not having less fulfilling lives because of it. And I think it bothers them. I think it bothers them a lot that, you know, it seems like Jesus is not that big of a deal when it comes to having a good life. So that's why you see reactions like this. Do you want to add something to that?
No, I was just gonna go on to say that he also claimed that that sin is the most verifiable truth, but the most resisted fact in human history. But he doesn't explain that if his religion and his belief system is a verifiable fact and it's undeniable, then why isn't he explaining the vast number of sects of Christianity that exist out there, why they can't agree on what is truth and what isn't, if that is indeed the truth? Is it just his truth, or is it Christianity's truth?
Okay, another thing this pastor is saying that doesn't make sense according to Christianity. He's saying even atheists need Jesus on Christmas. Don't atheists need Jesus all the time?
Well,
Like,
first of all, in order to receive the gifts that Jesus has for you, you have to first accept Jesus as your Lord and Savior.
yeah,
You cannot accept him as your Lord and Savior unless you believe that he is a supernatural deity. And if you believe that he's a supernatural
and
deity, boom, you're not an atheist.
right.
So how can an atheist reap what Jesus has for only believers?
Wait, what? I
How can
mean,
an atheist
right.
receive the rewards that
By
are
not
only
being
meant
an
for believers?
atheist. By not being an atheist. I think, isn't that what he means? Like, isn't he trying to get atheists to be Christian? Or he's here, like, you could
Well,
be.
he's saying that
Oh.
they saying that even atheists need Jesus on Christmas. So,
Mm.
I mean,
Oh,
what can
like
Jesus give an
maybe.
atheist?
So he's saying like we can't, like, even atheists, like they can't go on Christmas without mentioning Jesus or having, so because we need Christmas, it shows that even atheists can go by without Jesus. Is that what he's saying? Kind of, maybe.
Yeah, basically.
Okay, then he can't. Then if he ever mentions Thursday, then he can't ever. Then this shows that even pastors can't go without Thor, the god of
Right.
thunder, right? So Thor, god of thunder, is responsible for the name Thursday. I mean, he's putting up. Does he put up a Christmas tree, because that's paganic, based on pagan religion? So then he needs paganism. I don't understand. Like, the thing is that I don't. Some atheists enjoy getting rid of Jesus from their Christmas celebration, which is fine. But some atheists don't mind having it, and to me, that's also fine, because I mean, it's fun. It's fine to enjoy mythology, and you could enjoy Jesus as a myth in your in your holidays. I don't understand the point of getting rid of it. I mean, I do understand the point of getting rid of it. Some people are so tired of it. Like, as an ex-Muslim myself, I see why a lot of ex-Muslims don't want to have any celebrations of Islam, because they had such a bad experience with it. But so some atheists want to get rid of anything Christian related from their Christmas celebrations, and some people want to keep it. I think that both of that is fine. But as long the fact that they understand. So I mean, people that enjoy comic books don't have to recognize that any of those things are real. I mean, this guy is just saying nonsense. I don't think he deserves this much of a response. But again, I don't think when he says even atheists need Jesus on Christmas. So are you admitting that we don't need it anytime else? John is saying it's a day to celebrate the birth of a man who would change the world by age 30. Sarah's like Newton. Yeah, I heard that joke a million times, but it's still funny. Newton was born on December 25th, 1642. Mary Newtomus, everyone. Newtomus, okay. Rodney is saying, you're right. I need Jesus to feed the starving children around the world and to end violence. I'm waiting. And Michael is saying, I'm sorry, coffee is the answer we were looking for. Atheists need coffee on Christmas. Let me see if there's anything on... Okay, Muscal is asking something about extremism, but I think that's... I don't know if that's relevant to this news or the previous one. Let me see. Facebook live chat. Anybody tagged Atheist Republic for me to read anything? I hope I don't miss it. Oh, here. Terry saying, Atheist Republic, I really would love to see Star Trek Utopia to come reality soon. Year has way too many religious holidays, and we should not use calendar based on imaginary deity. I don't see the problem with that, though. Like, do you really want to go, like, remove the name on change the name of Thursday because it's based on an imaginary god? I mean, the point is that as long as we can acknowledge that they're imaginary, it's fine for us to use myth to celebrate things, right? I mean, are you against also Harry Potter? That's a myth as well. I think the problem with religious mythology are the people that believe that it's true. You can enjoy myth and fiction as long as you don't believe that it's real. I don't think there's any problem with that. But yeah, I mean, you might disagree. Jim, did you want to add anything to this?
No, that's it.
All right, let's go to the next news.
Twitter warns global users their tweets violate Pakistani law. Anthony Furey, a Toronto Sun op-ed editor, received an email said to be from Twitter's legal team telling him he may have broken Pakistani laws. He was startled to learn he stood accused of insulting the Prophet Muhammad, a crime punishable by death in the Islamic Republic. Twitter confirmed the correspondence was true. Furey's offense was to post cartoons of the Prophet several years ago. Other two prominent users, Saudi-Canadian activist Insaf Haidar and Imam Mohammed Tawhidi, a progressive Muslim scholar from Australia who was born in Iran, publicly complained about receiving a message linked to Pakistan. Pakistan had previously threatened to block Twitter if the company did not remove content its government found offensive.
Okay. So, devil's advocate, what's the problem with this? They're just sending you a notification that it breaks the Pakistani laws. They're not removing it, are they?
No. They're not removing it, but they are. These ones that are getting reported are not being shown in Pakistan. They're being taken down.
Okay. So the reason why this pisses people off is because a U.S. company is now enforcing blasphemy law, right?
Yeah.
So, but the devil's advocate to that is like, what do you expect? Do you want Twitter to go into a country and by not following their laws, it's going to completely get kicked out of Pakistan? And wouldn't it be better for people there to have some outlet to say something rather than nothing? Because if Twitter goes into Pakistan and breaks their laws, then Pakistan is going to kick Twitter out of Pakistan.
No, but the thing is that it's not Twitter's fault. Twitter is an open platform. Twitter has their own terms of service that not only adhere to United States penal codes, but most international penal codes. Now there are more strict countries like Pakistan, but I mean, what should happen is if they're wanting to enforce these laws, which are shitty laws and shouldn't be in place in the first place, they should be focused on IP addresses or posts that are coming from IP addresses from within that country, from within that jurisdiction. And if these posts are coming from people outside of the jurisdiction in Pakistan, they have no business sending them a letter, a legal letter, informing them that they've violated some law of which they have not violated because they are not in that country.
Or I mean, I would love to get letters from Pakistan telling me that I broke their laws. I will print that shit.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And frame it. I would frame it.
I would do it myself.
Right. No, I mean, thank you, Pakistan, for telling us that we broke your stupid fucking laws so that we could know which to do it again more, because it seems they're very sensitive about it. So please let us know what your stupid fucking Sharia laws are so we could keep doing it more often. Like, yes, tell me what you're most sensitive about so I do that more often. I mean, fuck you, Pakistan. I really don't blame Twitter on this one. I mean, I really think the blame goes to Pakistan and Pakistan alone, unless somebody wants to disagree with me and tell me why I'm wrong. I think like, hey, you know, I wish there was if they're sending me an official letter outside of Pakistan, telling me that they broke the law, I wish there was like an official reply button that I could officially send a legal letter telling them to go fuck themselves.
Right, it goes like straight to like their head person.
No, like, here's an official legal formal letter from my lawyer here. In response to your inquiries, I wanted to just to let you know that to go fuck yourself, Pakistan. I'm gonna keep breaking your Sharia law. No, they just should have an official reply button somewhere there. But
you're in violation of being a total fuckhead.
Yeah, but whoever is getting these letters, please share it so that we know which laws to keep on breaking. And, you know, Pakistan, you know, what are you going to do about it? We're not in your fucking stupid country, and what are you going to do about it, huh? We're going to break your laws all the time. Yeah, in fact, make it a hobby. We could even have it break a Pakistani law day. Yeah, until they need to be ready. I mean, they're so sensitive. They need to be. Needs to backfire, right? So, the beautiful thing about the internet is that whenever people find out that you're sensitive about something, they make sure that it backfires on you, so that you don't think that you can control people's speech and expression of their thoughts. And what we need to do, given that we can get away with saying these things. I mean, I can say like, fuck your Muhammad, fuck your Prophet Muhammad, and fuck your God, and fuck your Quran. I could get away with saying these things, but it's sad that our fellow atheists in Pakistan wouldn't be able to say something even much milder than any of this stuff. And
right.
what we need to do, given that when we get these letters, the reaction should be that we need to provide more tools for activists in Pakistan to be able to use VPN or find ways to send their message out without getting detected. And not that I mean, a lot of atheists in Pakistan have already figured all this stuff out. Here's the good thing about these sensitive people, about when they want to control people's behavior. They also ban porn. And the great thing about banning porn is that no government and no army can stand between teenagers and their porn. Okay, so when you try
they're gonna find it.
They're gonna figure it out, right? So banning porn will always work against you, because basically you'll make teenagers start training themselves on how to get around your firewalls or whatever you install.
Yeah.
And so when they come out of their teenage years and go from their porn discovery phase to their activism phase, now they have all the tools and the equipment to that they learn from searching for porn to be able to now do activism. But go on, Jim. You want to say something?
No, I was just going to say that I was a teenager before the internet. I grew up before the internet. My hormones kicked in before the internet, and I found porn. Like, I mean,
yeah,
you're not going to hide anything from somebody. You're not going to hide knowledge. Period. Not just porn. You're not going to hide knowledge from somebody seeking knowledge of something. They are going to find it.
Okay, the top comment is from Scott. He's saying, if my tweets didn't violate Pakistani law, I know I was doing something wrong. Okay. Agata is saying, I think I'm going to use Twitter for the first time in forever just to violate some Pakistani law. Any tips? That's good. Dave is saying, religion holding back progress for centuries. Tony saying, Pakistan violates my laws. So, good comments. I'm going to read some more. Malik is saying, who gives a fuck about their laws? Adam is saying, thoughts and prayers for the Pakistani government in this time of unimaginable trauma. Marga is saying, only weak gods, prophets, and religions fear criticism. So basically all gods, prophets, and religions. George is saying their God is so powerful that is offended by a tweet. What the fuck? Barbarian bullshit. None cares about Pakistani law. I mean, I do care about Pakistani law because I want to go actively break Pakistani laws. All right. So let me see if there's anything in the YouTube live chat with Atheist Republic tag, Facebook live chat. Okay, nothing here. Don't know. Okay, sorry, Terry. I missed one of your comments about the previous news. But we're gonna move on to the next news. Okay, what's the next news?
Al-Qaeda terrorists developing technology to blow up passenger planes, UK security chief warns. The terror group behind the September 11th attacks, Al-Qaeda, are reportedly hatching new plans to blow up passenger jets. They are planning to use drones packed with explosives to bomb targets as they spread tentacles of terror across the Middle East. The warning comes after London's Gatwick Airport was brought to its knees by drone attacks, which caused travel chaos for more than 140,000 passengers last week. Ben Wallace, the British security minister, revealed 13 Islamist terror plots have been thwarted in Britain since March of 2017. So that's a lot.
Wait, why is this news? Hasn't Al Qaeda always been trying to develop technology to blow up passenger planes, or is this the news that they're actually getting close?
Yeah, well, these are new plans. Up until now, they've always planned attacking passenger planes from the inside as passengers, but now they're
Oh,
using this new technology and these new drones and stuff to where now these aren't threats that can be screened in an airport. These are real air what do you call them?
so wait, what would the
Shit.
drones do? Like they go into the air and they shoot something at like what, or they go into the engine, like, or they have some explosive on the drones. What is this?
Yeah, yeah. So what would happen is the drone is packed with explosives, and it would get up close or get in the flight path of one of these planes, and all they have to do is detonate near it, and it will create sort of an explosion that would burst open the cabin and then just basically rip everybody out of the plane. I mean, there's you really don't you really wouldn't have to be far away from it, just enough to cause some kind of
This is going to be very hard. I mean, wasn't it just recently we had one drone in London that caused a shit ton of delays. I mean, and they couldn't even find the drone. I don't know what happened with that, right? But
Right.
given how hard it is to find a drone, if they come up with something like this, this is going to be almost impossible to, like, not impossible, but it's going to be very difficult to fight something like this, isn't it?
Oh yeah, yeah. Absolutely.
This seems crazy. Are you sure this is not like something sensationalized and fear-mongering? Like, do we have a good source for this?
Yeah, this is from the United Kingdom Security Council. This is very very good information. They as a matter of fact, our own security systems. We actually take a lot of our intelligence from the UK. There's a lot of sharing of intelligence there. But yeah, this has been verified by
Oh yeah.
several high-ranking officials.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned in the summary it says the warning comes after like London's airport was brought into its knees by drone attacks, which caused travel chaos for more than 14,000 passengers last week. So yeah,
140,000.
yep. What did I say?
14,000.
Oh, 140. Yeah, but this is gonna be like it's a small, tiny drone in a huge sky on top of a city close to an airport. It's going to be very, very difficult to detect something like this. And maybe very soon we're gonna have like other drones in the air, like by the military trying to hunt down. Like maybe the solution is going to be some anti-drone drones in the air, constantly like monitoring for drones. That would be weird. But then they're gonna build drones that are not easily detected. I guess it's gonna be difficult. Wow. Okay. Yeah. This is. But the main cost always to this is going to be the reaction to a terrorist attack. So if any of these end up being successful, the reaction to it is going to be way more costly than the attack itself. That's what they're banking on. But I don't know. Let me see what the top comments are. Top comments. John is saying the U.S. governments are developing technology to blow up passenger planes. What? No. What is that?
Oh, that's a troll. They're inferring that the United States is behind the Al Qaeda technology.
Conspiracy. So you're saying they're replacing Al Qaeda with the U.S. Fucking conspiracy
Right.
theorists, man. And this is the top comment?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Jesus, man. See, we have this proves that atheists are not immune to crazy ways of thinking. Like, so basically, these people think that. I mean, okay, there's two different claims here. So you could say, if you say the United States is responsible for Al Qaeda, that's not entirely wrong. The United States at some point funded them and is responsible for them. Again, it's not we're not making excuses for other factors, especially Islam. Okay, Islam is also a major factor, but that's one claim to make, which is an accurate claim to make. But then that's completely separate for people that think that United States is knowingly made Al Qaeda to and controls Al Qaeda, and they're in cahoots with them. That's absolutely horseshit. These people are just conspiracy nuts. Let me see if there's any good replies to John here. I'm hoping somebody. Okay, so yeah, and the conspiracy theorists are here. Didn't take long. Yeah. Okay. Jesus, man, this kind of way of thinking is so popular. I mean, the same way of thinking that when Muslims try to put all the blames into one group, right? So they mix in the Jews and the Illuminati and CIA and atheists and devil worshippers, and they just simplify it and saying they're all just the same group. You can see that all this is basically the same way of thinking when it comes to other non-Islamic conspiracy thinkings, where everything you hate is the same person. Like if you're against the U.S. government's policies and you're also against terrorism, then they must be the same thing. Oh, look, the second top comment, I think, is the same conspiracy theory. Jeff is saying, cough, Israel did it, cough, CIA funds Al-Qaeda, cough. Oh my God, this is insane. This is our community. Guys, we need to work harder on dealing with the bullshit like this. Dennis is saying, I believe that is the CIA you are referring to. This is the third top comment. Holy shit.
Seriously?
Yeah. All the top comments are conspiracy theories.
You guys are so original.
Okay. Let me see if our YouTube live chat is doing any better. Oh shit! I missed the comment from the previous news. Oh no, it's Axel is saying the drones that disrupted British airports were not packed with explosive. Yes, they were not the same. This is saying what the news is saying is that this news came out about the Al Qaeda right after we saw what a major headache drones are. Not that these are related at all with the drones that disrupted British airports. What it's saying is that given that how close it is to what happened recently, we know what a big of an issue this is. So yes, what happened at the British airports, they were not Al Qaeda. I mean, I don't think so, and they were not packed with explosive. I live in Scotland, and this is not how it has been reported here. No, we didn't say that, Axel. The news specifically says it's about two different things. First, it mentions that Al Qaeda is coming up with drones to blow up passenger jets, and then it continues that the warning comes after what we experienced with the British airports. Two separate news, right. But one of them. The news article is just using what recently happens to indicate how hard this problem could be. Muska is saying,
and it was the British security minister who talked about both of these things. So right. I mean,
yeah, I mean, if given how big of a mess a non-explosive drone can cause, imagine what a big of an issue this could be if Al Qaeda figures out a way to do this. That's what the point is. Muska is saying there is a very bad breakdown in humanity worldwide. We are reaching dark times. No, Muska, we're not. We're living at the best times ever. You just have more access to news than ever, and that's why everything looks shittier than ever before. In fact, every generation has thought that they're living at the worst times ever, even though almost every generation was living at the best time ever. Everything is improving. It's just that good news is boring to most people. We're living it at the lowest levels of poverty rates in history, both as a percentage and total number-wise. We're living in the safest time in history. Less people than ever before are dying from violence. Everything is better than it has ever been. That doesn't mean things are good. Things are shitty. They need to get better. But even though things are shitty, they're the best that have ever been. And the best.
Regardless, there's nothing wrong with wanting to make it better.
Yeah, no. The only reason why they got better was not because of just time, but was because of time and people that actually tried to make it better. So
people that give a shit.
Yeah, people that give a shit, exactly. So don't think like, oh, things are just going to get better, so there's no point worrying. No, worrying what made things better. But no, we are living at the best of times. Okay, so let me see if there's anything in the Facebook live chat. Somebody's saying I blame Queen Elizabeth. I think that's a joke. Somebody is saying, Jacob is saying 9/11 is just propaganda of US to make the Muslims look bad. Wow, okay. I think Muslims do a pretty good job at that themselves.
Yeah, they don't need any help.
Yeah. Terry is saying, sorry to break the bubble, but we atheists don't need magical sky daddy to have empathy. I think that was a discussion between yourselves. Let me see if there's anything in the Facebook live chat. No, YouTube live chat, sorry. There's a very... Okay. All right, so should we go to the next news?
Yeah.
Okay.
Boise priest gets 25 years for child porn. Liked watching a boy being beaten to death. Reverend Thomas Foucher, a Boise, Idaho priest, was sentenced to 25 years in prison without the possibility of parole. He was accused of amassing thousands of child porn images and videos on his home computer. He pled guilty in September. The detective said that Foucher was actively seeking interest with gay men, satanic interest, and the rape and killing of minors. He found more than 2,500 files that were sexually exploitative with young-looking subjects. As described by police, the files were violent, disturbing, and torturous, some involving children crying. The detective added that Foucher expressed a desire to have sex with boys, and he liked a video of a boy being beaten to death.
Okay, as disturbing as this priest is, I'm more worried about the fact that there are people that are actually producing videos of boys being beaten to death. Like, okay, I mean, I'm glad this guy got caught and whatever, but who the fuck is making these videos? Where are these videos? Like, who? Like, I didn't know there's a who. Like, where are these videos are being made? Like, that's. I mean, this is disgusting and horrific, but.
Right.
More worrisome than this priest is like do we actually have like people that are actually raping and beating boys to death, and there's a market for that and they're selling it? Like where are these videos? Like is there a crackdown on that?
Unfortunately, yeah, that's a very real problem. These child sex rings and these snuff films that show people being murdered or tortured. Is usually being commissioned by somebody who wants it done, somebody who has money and wants to see it done, and then that video is usually shared and distributed amongst other people. And there's large communities where people trade this child pornography and these snuff films, and it's really sick and twisted group of people. But there's the dark web and all this other stuff. There's methods that these people use to find these things.
I mean, to me, the headline is not that the priest is watching it. To me, the headline is that these videos are being made. Like the kids that are being beaten to death. That's the headline here.
Well, I think that the headline isn't just that this guy's going to prison for it, but that he was a priest, and he was being trusted with some of these people's children, and just looked at as a generally good member of society and a Christian man, or it's really sad.
He's saying it's so stupid when they say satanic desires. Yeah, I mean, read your fucking Bible. Satan never did anything this horrific. This is more aligned with the God of the Bible than the satanic desires. I mean, there's nowhere in the Bible, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's nowhere in the Bible that Satan kills a child, but there's shit ton of examples of God killing children in the Bible. So maybe instead of calling it satanic desires, call it godly desires. Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
I don't know. I've got nothing to say to this guy.
Let me see if this is fucking barbaric. 25 years for did he have to pay for any of that? Like is he getting a dark web I don't know, probably.
All
Almost
it says is that he was part of a porn trading community. How he got the video of the boy being beaten, I don't know, but I guess it was posted in the community, the online community that he was a part of, and that he liked it. Like I guess similar to the Facebook reaction, he liked it or reacted to it in a way.
Oh wait, that's how he got caught?
No. That's not how he got caught. But that was part of the investigation of looking through his computer and stuff. Found that he liked that video.
Okay.
But no, he was he was caught because he was found looking for like actively seeking out the rape and killing of minors and these other things, and then that's whenever they came in, got his computer, and found all of the thousands of child pornography videos and pictures on his computer, and then found that he had liked that video of that boy being beaten to death.
Top comment is from Annie. She's I think she's a Satanist. She's saying, "Don't blame Satanism. We don't condone rape or physical abuse of children or animals." Rachel is saying, "Let's hope his fellow prisoners give him a welcome he'll never forget." No, I don't condone mob justice. I prefer the courts to take care of this stuff in a yeah. No amount of horrified behavior should make us give up law and order. Somebody else that I can't pronounce their name is saying, if a priest behaves this way, what does it say about the God he serves? Actually, it's the other way around. The God is worse. I mean, the God, this guy, how many kids did he watch get killed? The God actually killed kids, according to their story. He drowned the whole fucking planet. Yeah, the God. If I mean, this whole idea of calling things satanic because they're evil needs to get, die. We need to call anything that is horrific. We need to call them godly from now on.
Yeah, according to Isaiah, God creates both good and evil.
Right. I mean, based on his track record, mostly evil. Mike is saying, I sure hope the rumors about what happens in prisons to the monsters is at least partially true. No, that's not good. Mob justice is it's never a good idea. Rivka saying, more of that Christian love, hey? That's dark. Anything you want to add, Jim? Let me see.
No, I'm done with this subject.
Yeah, it's very uncomfortable, isn't it? Yeah, I just hope the people that made the video get caught more than this guy.
Right. Well, there are ongoing investigations, and I'm sure that this evidence will be added to what they have, and hopefully it will lead to some arrest or some new information.
Yeah. Okay. Should we go to the next news?
Sure. Turkey masses troops near Kurdish-held Syrian town. A war monitor said that Turkey is massing troops near a town in northern Syria held by a U.S.-backed and Kurdish-led force. The Turkish buildup comes even though Turkey said it would delay a promised offensive in eastern Syria in the wake of President Trump's decision to withdraw U.S. troops. French President Emmanuel Macron said he deeply regrets Trump's decision to pull U.S. troops out of Syria and warned it could have dangerous consequences. And President Macron is exactly right. He's right on the money. If we pull out after all the support that we've given the Kurds, and after all the support that they've given us, we're just going to pull out and leave them vulnerable. And then once they are overtaken, because they will be without any other assistance, then it will create a power vacuum, and inevitably it will be filled by Islamic extremists.
I mean, I'm not that comfortable predicting what's going to happen in the future, but I do think that guess. I'm not sure that this has something to do with the Khashoggi thing. It seems like Turkey is getting everything at once. Turkey is now, I mean, Saudi Arabia is becoming a much less reliable ally to United States when it comes to being United States proxy in different things, given that they couldn't even make much of a progress in Yemen. I think Turkey is a partner the U.S. doesn't want, but kind of needs right now, given though, especially with that Khashoggi trump card they have up their sleeves. I mean, I guess we're not going to hear much about Khashoggi anymore, given that Turkey is getting what they want. Now they're going to be able to do what they want in Syria. The most sensitive thing about when it comes to Syria for United States is Iran getting control over it, right? And I don't know if United States can rely on Turkey to keep Iran out of Syria. It's going to be almost impossible.
Yeah. Well, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be an end to the whole Khashoggi thing, because you have to remember there's still a huge power struggle going on right now in Saudi Arabia, because they don't believe now that Mohammed bin Salman is fit to take over, is fit to rule.
No, but I understand that, but it's almost impossible right now. You can't get rid of this guy like that easily, right? And the amount of pressure Turkey can now put on United States and Saudi Arabia is huge, given that I don't know how much information they have on Khashoggi, but they might be calling the shots here right now, right?
Right.
I mean, the United States still needs Saudi Arabia as their puppet there, and Turkey could really fuck things up. Maybe we don't know a lot, but I don't know. The interesting thing is that. I mean, the Kurds are being abandoned again. I don't know how many times are they going to get abandoned until the Kurds completely start giving up on the United States. Given that they're the most progressive and liberal-minded people around there, other than Israel, when it comes to their values, this is going to be I don't know if the Kurds are going to ever make that mistake again, relying on United States. I mean, I think Israel is so desperate, not giving up on Israel. I'm pretty sure is pretty upset that the U.S. is pulling out, and Israel is now going to increase their backing for the Kurds, because I think that's the only allies they have left in that area. But this is the Iran is loving all of this. It seems like everything that keeps happening is just. I mean, the people of Iran are not going to love this because there's going to be more investment is going to start more investment of Iran's government on their foreign adventures and empire building around the region. And it's not like the Revolutionary Guard cares about the sanctions. In fact, they welcome the sanctions. They want the sanctions. The people that get hurt by the sanctions. The sanctions make the Revolutionary Guard much stronger because they don't have to compete in the businesses that they are involved with. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard, they have somewhat of a monopoly in many areas in the economy, and with the sanctions, that means less competitions for them. And everything Saudi Arabia has done against Iran backfired, and this is just aligned with all the. So this Khashoggi thing is now, if this pulling out of Syria by United States is in response to United States giving in to Turkey's demand because Turkey has something on Khashoggi. If this is what's happening, I'm not sure if that's what's happening. This is basically Saudi Arabia giving another gift to Iran. And they keep doing the same thing. I mean, they went into Yemen against Iran, and they ended up benefiting Iran. They made a blockade on Qatar, and that ended up helping Iran instead of hurting Iran. They kidnapped the country's prime minister in from Lebanon, and they kidnapped him and hold him hostage, and that ended up helping Iran. And now Hezbollah became much stronger in Lebanon than ever before because of that. Everything they do, and now this is going to help Iran gain more control over Syria. Like Iranians are probably just laughing at everything. Like they don't even need a foreign policy. It seems like Saudi Arabia is doing all the foreign policy work that Iran needs for Iran themselves. So I guess they just ever since Saddam was removed from Iraq, both United States and Saudi Arabia are just giving one gift after another to Iran. It's bizarre. I don't know.
Yeah.
Let me see if there's anything in the YouTube live chat. Nothing there about this news. Terry is saying, imagine if Third World War would happen in the next 5 or 10 years, then space exploration and atheism spreading further would suffer. Slaps that thought out of the head. Okay, keep the comments on the news, guys, please. Okay, so let me see what the top comment is on Facebook. Ian is saying, Ian or Ian, I don't know. Who really cares? Let them go for it. Really, no one, none of our, including Australia business. Okay, nobody should care. I don't know if you. I mean, yeah, I mean, if you don't care, you don't care. But obviously, this is gonna shape many things in a couple of next decades. I mean, this might make Iran very powerful in the region. This is the I mean, this is going to build the Shia empire that they have been building since the Islamic Revolution. This goes along those lines. This is going to make them a superpower in the region. I'm not sure if it's going to go that way, but it's going to help. So I don't know if you don't care about that, then maybe you should. I don't know. Carlos is saying the Kurds fought ISIS for the rest of the world. Now we're going to turn our back on them. Perfect. Yeah, I mean, the Kurds constantly get abandoned. And abandoning people, it seems to be U.S.'s main thing. I mean, if they were never involved, it was one thing. But to go, you know, get them to do things for you, and then when they need you to abandon them, that's really a shitty situation for a lot of allies to have to deal with. And it makes people rethink being allies to the United States in the future. I mean, I don't know why Kurds have... Yeah, I mean, they had no choice, I guess. But this happened all the time. This is nothing new. Even when it comes to the Bush Senior, they promised the people that stood up against Saddam, like the understanding was that if they go against Saddam, United States would back them, and they didn't, and Saddam fucking crushed them. I mean, it's one thing for you not to use people, and then also not support them when they need you, but it's another thing. So for you to actually go use them as your own proxies, for them to fight your battles, and then just abandon them, and then just switch allegiances to somebody else as soon as they need you. This is not going to be good for the United States. I mean, United States is not going to have much allies in the region anymore. Iran has a lot of allies in the region, and United States is going to lose its allies. And if you guys want less intervention means relying on allies. This intervention means relying on your people that have the same goals as you, so that they use their military. They spend money on the on the stuff that you want them to do. But if you keep doing this,
which is exactly what the Kurds were doing. The Kurds were actually giving us their troops and trusting us to train their troops to fight for a common goal.
Yeah, but so basically, I just want to make sure I make this very clear. Like, for the people that want less intervention and less spending on military, military missions and stuff like that, less intervention involves you relying on your allies, and abandoning your allies makes you have less reliable allies. I mean, Turkey is not very U.S. friendly, and now United States is losing a lot of options. I don't know. This doesn't look good.
Right. I mean, it's ridiculous. You know, we're pulling out of from the Kurds. You know, pulling out from after everything that they've done for us. We're pulling out from that, but at the same time, we still haven't put any sanctions on Saudi Arabia.
Okay, good. Let's go to let me see if the YouTube live chat. Nothing here. Nothing. Nobody tag Atheist Republic if you want me to read your comments, or else I'm not gonna know what you're saying. Okay, so let's go to the next news.
The Satanic Temple is cleared to enter the Ten Commandments lawsuit. The Satanic Temple has been allowed to enter the lawsuit challenging the Ten Commandments monument at the Arkansas state capitol on the grounds that a refusal of its request to install a Baphomet monument was a violation of their constitutional equal protection right. The Ten Commandments monument that is now in place is the second version paid by private contributions to an organization headed by Rapert, for which he has yet to disclose financial particulars. I would like to add that the first version was ran over by a Dodge Dart by the same person who ran down the one in the Oklahoma state capitol.
Okay, so they're being cleared for a lawsuit. It doesn't mean that they won a lawsuit or anything. They're being allowed to have a lawsuit challenging the Ten Commandments. And the reason, so usually that's the Freedom from Religion Foundation that does something like this, right? But the reason why because the Satanic Temple usually gets in when some people have like a Christian or religious symbols in publicly funded places, and some organizations like Freedom from Religion Foundation fail to win a lawsuit to remove it, and then when it becomes the law accepted for people to have religious symbols in publicly funded places, that's when the Satanic Temple gets in, and they're like, okay, so if you want to allow religion here, well, we have a satanic symbol for you to put here, right?
Right, and they were actually going to erect one of the Baphomet monuments at the Oklahoma City state grounds because they had the second Ten Commandments set up after that gentleman, whom I can't remember his name, but I would love to honor him, actually ran over the first set of Ten Commandments. And they basically entered a lawsuit saying, well, if you don't take down the Ten Commandments and ban any future religious representation on public grounds, we are going to erect this statue of Baphomet and these two children. And I believe it was like 11 foot tall.
Right.
And they actually removed the Ten Commandments.
Okay, well, that was somewhere else. Right?
Yes, that was somewhere else, but it was the exact same type of lawsuit by the exact same people.
See, this is why I love the Satanic Temple, because the Christians always like, oh, we want they're against secularism until they realize, until they realize that when we atheists we say like, oh, you can't have religious symbols in publicly funded areas, they tell us that we're being anti-Christian, and then as soon as they win, when the Satanic Temple moves in, they realize why it's a good idea for you not to have religious symbols in publicly funded places. But in this situation, this is different. These people are such fucking hypocrites that they went ahead with allowing the Ten Commandments, but they're saying, well, yeah, the Ten Commandments can stay, but no to the Satanic, monument, right? So, which is fucking what? Like, no, if you want to have religious symbols, you can't just pick and choose which religious symbols you're allowed to have, right? This is so sad that these idiots are doing this. I mean, these people, the Satanic Temple is probably going to win this because they have a very easy case here, don't they?
Yeah.
This is just gonna waste taxpayer money. Like, these people should just give in. Be like, okay, no Ten Commandments. How easy that is. Stop wasting taxpayer money on lawsuits that you're gonna lose. Like what?
Right.
But it's very important for the Satanic Temple to do this, because we don't want to let the. And again, when we say on public areas, what we actually mean is on publicly funded areas. Like, it's fine to have religious symbols in public, but not in publicly funded. Like, you could go out and have in a park and actually. No, not in the park, because that's publicly funded. But whatever, it can be taxpayer funded, because then your government is taking a religious side. Your government is getting involved in promoting one religion over another, and you shouldn't let that happen, because once you let that happen, you don't know how far that's gonna get. So we need people, the Satanic Temple, to do these things for us, so that the Christians back the fuck up. Get away from the government. You don't belong here. If you want to be in government, then everybody should be here. The Satanic Temple should be here. And the beautiful thing about the Satanic Temple is that it scares the shit out of Christians. And then once they see the Satanic Temple come into their government buildings and into their schools, then that's the only way for getting Christians to demand secularism. They see the value of secularism only when the Satanic Temple gets involved, or when Islam gets involved as well, because they're pretty much scared of Islam getting into schools and government buildings as well. But the problem with Islam is that we don't want to use Islam as a weapon against Christians, because Islam is actually bad, like a dangerous thing to get. But the Satanic Temple is atheistic. I mean, these people don't believe in this. So it's perfect. It's such a perfect weapon, because first of all, it's not dangerous, because it's just a, it's just made up. Like none of those people actually believe in Satan. But at the same time, it does have that. It still scares the shit out of Christians. So it has all the benefit without all the costs of an actual real religion. But go on, Jim.
I was just going to say that the Satanic Temple promotes secularism. That's what separates them from Islam, is that they are actually okay with a secular society.
Okay.
And secularism is what is necessary in order for there to be true equality.
Okay, somebody is in the live chat is asking to contact us. No, we're not going to come and find you. You come and contact Jim, and he will see whatever you have. Jim will be able to respond to you with regards to whatever you want to cooperate.
Yeah, you want to fight? Is that what it is? Man wants to fight?
No. He wants to cooperate, but just go and find Jim and contact Jim somehow, because my inbox is a fucking nightmare. Beach is saying, thank you, Beach. Oh, Beach is such a lifesaver. She sent a link to our contact page. Jim gets those. Yeah, and also Snarky as well. Thank you, guys. You guys are awesome. So yeah, just as on atheistrepublic.com, you can find our contact page right there. Let me see what the top comment is on this. Sarah took a screenshot of our post about this news on Facebook with 666 reactions. Idris saying, praise Satan. Isn't it Hail Satan? Sarah saying, okay, but Satan doesn't exist. Yeah, I mean, you guys should know that what the Satanic Temple is about, okay? They know that Satan doesn't exist. Yeah, go on.
Yeah,
and also a lot of people are like, oh, why are atheists cheering for religious symbols in public property? We're not cheering for it. No, the ideal situation, what we want is no religious symbols in publicly funded property. The whole point of having satanic symbols whenever is as a reaction to when people have Christian symbols, so that they take it out, so that they get discouraged for demanding having Christian symbols in government buildings or in schools. The whole point of these satanic temples is for them to back off. Is when the ideal situation would be for there not to be any religious symbols, but given that there are Christian symbols, then they should be fair for everybody. Everybody should be able to have their religious symbols. If there's Christians, then if you're allowing religion in government, then why is your religion getting special treatment, right? Why is your religion getting favors? Then if you're opening that gate to religion, you're opening that gate to every religion. They should know that. Muscal is saying, do you think that the Satanic Temple has a PR problem? I have heard people think they are the Church of Satan or devil worshippers. That's not a problem. That's actually a feature, because we want the Christians to be offended by having Christian symbols.
We want them to be uncomfortable. The time for Christianity to believe that they have a monopoly over anything has ended, and it's time that anybody, whether they're satanic or atheist or agnostic or unsure, that is why it's so important for us to make ourselves known, to show Christians that they have opposition, that they are not the supreme belief that they think they are.
Yeah, so the anti-satanic scare that people have, that's not a PR problem with the Satanic Temple. That's a feature that we're using. Yeah, and actually, Jim, we need to get some of them on our discussion videos at some point.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. let's see if there's what the top comment. I read that already. Let me see if anybody tagged Atheist Republic here on Facebook. Nothing here. Okay. Let's go to, should we go to the next news?
Sure. There are no gods. Group displays anti-religious sign next to nativity scene in a public park. In a California park, a sign declaring religion is but myth and superstition is being displayed amongst Christmas decorations and a nativity scene in order to start a debate on freedom of religion and freedom from religion, according to the organization that placed it there. The whole message was, there are no gods, no devils, no angels, no heaven or hell. There is only our natural world. The banner, which was signed by the Freedom from Religion Foundation,
Yay.
shout out, continues, religion is but myth and superstition that hardens hearts and enslaves minds. So true. So true.
Wait, is this is Yahoo News, isn't it?
Yes, that's correct.
So,
Yahoo Style and Beauty, not to mention. I'm not sure.
How did it get there? But I don't understand why they're calling it anti-religious. I mean, it is anti-religious, which is great that it's anti-religious. But if we're calling a sign that's saying God is not, there are no gods, if we're calling that anti-religious, then can we also call every fucking church and every fucking mosque out there anti-atheist? Because
right, well,
like,
this is along the exact same lines of the Baphomet monument being on public grounds. You know, these are somebody who are, and this is a group that is displaying something on public property, which is in a California park that is government property, and so these people are putting out these nativity scenes and stuff like that. So in an act of defiance and in an act of opposition to the violation of church of separation of church and state that is obviously going on here, the Freedom from Religion Foundation put up these banners in a mocking and defensive way.
No, okay, but I'm more worried about it. Like, so great job, by the way, Freedom from Religion Foundation. Thank you for everything you're doing. Keep putting out these messages out there. But it was amazing to me how these messages, you know, so the title says there are no gods. Group displays anti-religious signs next to nativity scene in public park. So okay, fair. Call this anti-religious, but so we should have news articles also saying, instead of saying there's a new church that is being built, we should say a new anti-atheist building is now being built in this place, or a new anti-atheist. I mean, they saying anti-religious, which is fair. You could call us anti-religious. We are, but the fact that you're focusing on the fact that to me, it seems like they see any messages of people with their atheism as hateful and negative, even though if they say there is a God, nobody said, look, there's a sign like God loves you, right? People don't usually say that, like, oh, what an anti-atheist message, right? But when they say somebody saying there are no gods, they're like, oh, what an anti-religious message. That's the perception people have. But you're saying there's a God, and but that's not seen as hateful. But when we say, no, there is no God, that's seen as hateful and anti a certain group of people, right? So I just say,
stop oppressing me.
No, I'm not saying stop it. I'm specifically saying it's fair because we are anti-religious. Go ahead and do that. Go ahead and I'm not trying to. No, I'm not trying to claim victimhood, but I'm just saying it would be interesting if it was treated the same way. Then when it comes to atheism, there is no doctrine that we demand, for example, for religious people to get tortured, or that religious people are all evil or deserve to be punished in some way, right? But it's interesting that their dogma doesn't come with the anti-atheist tag, given that their books come with with teachings that people like me, you and me, will be burning forever. We'd be tortured forever, and we'd be screaming in pain for eternity, and we are deserving of it, right? So to me, if we were treating everything equally, we would be saying, like, calling every book, like, every Christian gathering or every Islamic gathering or every church, every mosque, we would be like, oh, another anti-atheist building. Or like if somebody comes to preaches the gospel or says like, oh, there's a God, like, wow, more anti-atheism. There would be 10, like, it's just funny how, because they don't see atheism as the norm, just responding to they have accepted themselves so much as the norm that just rejecting their views and have responding and giving it an alternative viewpoint, for them, they just mentioning it for them is seen as like an attack, or as a war, or or as them being oppressed in some way. Like, just, I mean, this is not a Christian website. This is Yahoo, okay? This is Yahoo News that has the title "Group Displays Anti-Religious" sign next to them. Again, I'm not saying it's anti-religious, but it's just interesting that that's what they want to focus on, right?
Right, but then again, you also have to remember that the author of that article, I mean, they have their own slant. So I mean, they obviously have their own bias, you know.
Right. Muscal is saying, sometimes I feel the atheist message is more about being pro-truth instead of anti-religious. Well, Muscal, being anti-religious is pro-truth. So whenever the thing, it's more about how you want to be, how people are trying to make you be perceived. Because technically, whenever you're for something, just by being for something, you're also against something. Right? I mean, if you're pro-health, then you're anti-disease. There's nothing wrong with being anti-disease. Every time you make a stance against something, you're technically all at the same, because of standing against something, you're standing for something. And every time you're standing for something, technically you must be standing against something for you to be able to stand for something. But again, that's
a fallacy, though, because just because I believe that something isn't true doesn't mean that I believe that it's false.
No, but I'm just specifically, if you stand for something, you have to be standing against something. If you do stand for something, right? Like any example you give me, I could show you how you're standing against something. Stanley's saying they call this anti-religious. I call it pro-reality. Again, to be pro-reality, you have to be anti-religious. I think Bobby is saying this is outrageous. Okay, is it? I don't know if this is a joke or it's real. Bobby is saying this is outrageous. They are openly mocking Christianity. Also, naturalism is a logically incoherent worldview. Man, this really makes my blood boil. I can't tell if this is a joke or if this guy is really an idiot.
That's a joke.
No,
yeah, he's being facetious.
I don't know, man. I can't tell.
Yeah, he is.
How do you know? I can't tell anymore.
Because of what he said after that.
Okay, good. Because that would be some level of stupid that I cannot take right now. Because a lot of people think I took it seriously. Okay, finally, a holiday tradition I can get behind. Yeah, guys, go support Freedom from Religion Foundation. They are really doing some great work. Yep. Thank you so much for doing this. If you know, the fact that people find this offensive means we need to do more of this stuff so that it gets normalized. Chris is saying we're gonna allow nativity scenes, religious expression in public parks. Gotta let everyone else have their say as well. This doesn't bother me at all. It's simply a different viewpoint, and they have all the right to express it. Exactly. And Jason is saying it requires a lot of faith to believe there is no God. See, I think some of these are serious, Jim. No, that's a very Christian thing to say.
Some of them, but that one in particular wasn't serious.
Okay. I can't tell. I'm not seeing any comments that contradict it. But anyways, I hope you're right. Anyways, I think, let me see what are some YouTube comments. Axel saying they will always hate us as long as they have faith, because we preach critical thinking, which is conceptually the enemy of faith. Well, they will not always hate us. I mean, they hated I mean, a lot of people ignore their religion, and I mean, we have made a lot of progress for atheists being accepted among religious community, and I think we could make, even if we can't convince people that their religion is fucking crazy, you might be able to convince them that not only they should accept atheists, but they should accept atheists shitting on their religion. I mean, it's not that much to ask. A lot of people are like, oh, don't shit on a religion because shitting on people's religion is going to make it harder for atheists to be accepted. Like, no, we want them to. They need to accept us shitting on their religion. They shouldn't just accept us being quiet.
Right.
You know, that's not. Okay.
That's just tolerating. That's not accepting.
Yeah, I mean, you really think that our expectation from religious people is just to tolerate us as long as we keep our opinions to themselves? No, fuck that. You should accept us. Not only be atheist, but also should. I mean, you are condoning books that condones killing us and torturing us. And we deal with that shit. As long as you're not doing it, we just make fun of it and shit on it. We don't go against you. We let you have those views. We let you spread those views, as long as you don't get the government involved. So that's a lot of tolerance coming from us. You shouldn't just tolerate us existing. I mean, thank you so much. You want a medal for tolerating our existence? You should go beyond that. You should tolerate us shitting on your fucking stupid religion. And I think we can get there. We have made a lot of progress. I mean, not progress enough, but still a lot of progress. We do have some Muslims and Christians going as far as more than ever before, still nearly not as enough, but some religious people are now accepting not just atheists, but also atheists shitting on Islam and Christianity. That's progress. But right. Again, still not nearly as enough. I mean, this is very small, very tiny.
Right, yeah.
It's very tiny, but it's still... Yeah.
Yeah, we're not asking that Christians and Muslims not be offended. Like, we're not saying don't be offended by what we say. Right. We're just by saying, hey, we want to talk shit too. Like,
yeah, we want to talk shit about your shitty religions, and we're not demanding that you don't get offended. We're just demanding that you being offended shouldn't mean anything. Your being offended shouldn't mean anything to us. Like, you being offended shouldn't have any influence on what we get to say or don't say. Go get offended in your own. You know, if you're offended, just don't come and see what we have to say. Just go off, be offended by yourself. We don't care that you're offended. I mean, we do care you're offended, but because we especially care that you're offended if you try to use that as a weapon. All right, so I think that's the last thing we had to say. Jacob, you didn't tag. I don't know if you want me to read this. Anybody tagging Atheist Republic? Nope. Okay, so that's about it. Yeah, that was it. Thank you, everybody. That was our last news. Thank you, Moose. Thank you, Casey Atheist. Thank you, who is in the Facebook live chat, Jacob, Terry. Sorry if I missed some of your comments. Axel, Haley, Doorknob Head. Wow, that's a weird username. But Mr. Something 77. And I don't know if Snarky is still around. It's really great to have Snarky, our new mod, in the live chat. Love you all. Jim, did you want to add anything?
No, just thank you so much for joining us today. We had a great turnout. Just continue to share our page and our YouTube links, and join us next time.
Yeah, and subscribe to our newsletter if you want to make sure you don't miss any of these. And also, we do release once this is done, I usually go extract not usually, always go extract the audio and release this on our podcast for people that prefer the podcast method to listening to the audio version. So we have 3 different Atheist Republic podcasts. One of them is Atheist Republic News, the other one is Atheist Republic Discussions, and Atheist Republic Voicemails. So if you listen to podcasts, just search for Atheist Republic in your podcast app, and all 3 of them should show up. Chris in the live chat, Godless Heathen, damn, missed this live chat. Yes, sorry, hopefully next time. Yeah. So yeah, thank you again for disagreeing with us. Thank you again for correcting us. Sorry if I missed any of your comments. Love you guys, and see you again next week. And special thanks to our mods, Beach, Christy, and now Snarky. Bye guys.